And welcome, everybody. This is episode 45 of the No Shots Fired podcast, a very special episode entitled Why It's Junkblade's Naming Day. And you'll find out what that's all about shortly. Today we're going to be talking about Tetris 99, which is, I think, like Battle Royale, but Tetris.
Best Battle Royale game ever released.
Wow, a bold proclamation
Yes.
from our connoisseur of Battle Royale games.
I have tried several of them.
You actually have. You're, we're going to be talking about Junkblade wrapping up Doki Doki Literature Club. A little bit of a meta choose your own adventure. I don't know. I'm not going to. Tactics Ogre, the Knight of the Lodis. There should be a K in there. Or
I think Lodis is spelled. It's fine.
Everything's spelled great. Everything's cool. Dungeons & Dragons update, which be you know what? It's a special day. I think maybe we just have Junkblade talk the whole time, and then the Link's Awakening remake is going to be our topic of the podcast. Well, specifically remakes in general, how you balance capturing the original feeling of the game against the enhanced abilities you have now that you're remaking it. How to keep people happy. It's almost impossible on both sides of the spectrum. And finally, we end with your questions, and hopefully we get one for this special day. So without further ado, let's jump right into Tetris 99.
All right. Well, Tetris 99 was announced and released on the same day last week? Oh, God. Sometime recently on the Nintendo Switch. And basically, you're playing Tetris against 98 other people. And there's several different options, kind of in classic Tetris attack type games, where by you clearing lines, you're sending junk over to other people's boards, and trying to last longer than they do. And you can have some kind of options in terms of if you want to only like counterattack people that are attacking you, or just random attacking, or you can go, kind of move between people that are close to death and stuff. And then at I think 50 and maybe 20 people left, it speeds up each time. So
okay,
it's
I love the concept. I think that's a really fun.
It's super cool, simple concept. A lot of fun to play, and just very easy to just kind of. I hopped in. I played for an hour or so. My best placing is 20th, I think, right now. But no, just a really cool little thing that's free if you've got the online service, which is $20 a year, I think. So, not a lot of investment to give this one a try.
You can also, I think it's $40 a year, but you can get 8 people on the service. So
yes.
You have 8 people pay $5, and then all of them have live service, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the family plan is pretty good.
I will say, as somebody who has not played it, that I love that they actually have done something slightly different with the Battle Royale game type, rather than just make another clone, basically, of player Unknown Battlegrounds, because they cloned some other Battle Royale game, so...
Yeah, but just that kind of formula. And even it's, obviously it's a totally different game type, but the kind of I agree, that idea of changing up how that many people can play like a one game-ish type thing is a cool thing. I hope we see more of those kind of ideas.
Well, exactly. I love the idea. It's just that rather than expand upon just giant games, it seems like we're still caught in the throes of a bunch of imitation rather than exploration.
Yeah, and not too surprising to me that Nintendo's one of the people who are one of the first ones to figure out a way to do that in a cool manner. This came out of the most recent Nintendo Direct. We won't get into all of it today, but there was a couple demos released that I played. Yoshi's Crafted World, which is just goddamn adorable, and it's just like everything's made out of cardboard, and it's just super cute, and the title screen like rotates around like Yoshi's Island does, and once you get to the back of it, you can see like there's like a barcode on the cardboard that was used to make this scenery, and there's like folded pieces of cardboard supporting it, like propping it up, and then there's like two Shy Guys asleep behind the scenery. It's just so
I gotta see this.
yeah, so that's very cute, and that level was fun. So I may give that one a go at some point. And then the other one was Daemon Ex Machina, which I probably sent you guys the trailer a while ago. That was just like really anime metal and it was really good. But the game, yeah, so far the game's basically that, which is good. I like the visual style quite a bit. It's I don't know, I don't want to say cell shaded, but it's kind of got a little bit of that feel to it. It's a cool looking game. So yeah, some cool Nintendo stuff on the horizon. Speaking of horizons, Doki Doki Literature Club.
Okay.
I assume expanded Junkblade's horizon of what was possible in book club.
Okay, so I have since finished this.
Man, what a
game.
transition! What
Right?
a transition!
Nailed it.
Are you guys familiar with what a creepypasta is?
Creepypasta? Is it something when you boil it just looks creepy, or?
I thought that's the historical thread of people telling scary stories online.
It's kind of like that, and it's generally used to refer to kind of honestly low quality stories where things are just clearly not thought out at all. But the general idea, when they are well executed, is that something completely normal just starts acting completely weird. Usually it'll be from some famous game series, like one of the Mario games or the Sonic games. And while playing it, that felt like the general concept that Doki Doki Literature Club was going for. That it starts off as a normal dating simulator game, and then you just keep noticing things getting weirder and weirder, or like the one character who is the antagonist of the game breaking the fourth wall, and then things just keep escalating the further along the game goes.
Kind of like and sort of one of the favorite examples is like the Eternal Darkness kind of thing, where it starts like messing with you outside the. Is that something you mentioned last time, right? Where it's like okay,
it kind of starts messing with you a little bit outside of the game.
I always appreciate a game that can do that.
I do as well. So I've played through to one of the three endings, and none of them really end happily. There's one that is like the best ending that you can't possibly get on your first playthrough unless you deliberately play the game in a way that doesn't seem like it was intended.
What do you mean by that?
You have to basically put a save file at a certain point early on in the game, play through each of the three people you can romance's storylines, and then you have to play through one person's, then reload from that point, then play through another person's, then reload from the point, and play through the last person's to get the best ending.
Sounds impossible without looking up online how to do it.
Basically, yes, without either looking up online how to do it, or having somebody at least give you some sort of hint as to how to do it.
But even that ending isn't, you said, like a happy one, necessarily?
So, there are 4 girls in the game. Yuri, Natsuki, I cannot remember the one girl's name, and Monica. Monica, whose name is spelled with a K, is...
Wait, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica?
And there is one more. Give me one moment.
We don't need the name. It's fine.
Okay.
Girl C.
Monica is the one. Sayori is the last one.
Of course, and Monica.
Monica is the one who is making everything go screwy.
I mean, she'd have to with those other people's names. Like, there's one that's not fitting, so... Sorry, go ahead.
Ross's brother, right?
What now?
Okay.
So, as you go through, you notice that you start learning more about the characters, obviously, and Monica is the one who seems to be written as, like, a poorly thought-out character, in that she doesn't seem to have any real flaws or anything very interesting about her. And she's also the only one in the game that you can't pursue romantically. And this is what's driving her freaking part of what's driving her freaking crazy, is that she can't be with you no matter what she does.
Okay.
So she tries because she knows that it's all a game and is actually capable of manipulating the code. First, she starts by amplifying the flaws of the other characters or giving them entirely new ones to try and make you hate them and go after her instead. But again, because of the structure of the game, you can't go after her no matter what you do.
So, wait, so this character realizes she's in a video game.
Yes.
And her main problem isn't that she's not like a real sentient person. It's that she can't pursue you romantically.
It's both.
Okay. So that first bit is referenced, at least?
Yeah, not only is she a character in a video game, but she's a character in a romance game who you cannot pursue romantically.
Okay, so then what is she even doing there?
That's kind of why she goes completely crazy, and then later on in the game, completely deletes all of the other characters.
Ah.
So it's just you and her and nothing else.
Always a good setup for success in a relationship.
So, your first option is to just leave the game at that point, and that's the closest thing.
Why can't you date her at that point? I mean, there's nobody else left.
There's no options left at that point. You can just leave it open, and she'll occasionally talk about things, but that's all that happens.
But she could change the code.
Control.
Yeah.
She's not completely in control, unfortunately. Like, she can affect, like, the other characters, but if she was completely in control of the game, she would just make it so that you could only date her to begin with.
Is this one of those can God make a stone that even he can't lift kind of paradoxes? Or
it is one of those weird paradox situations. Do
they address that in the game, or do they just...
I think they do, but it was like a 6-hour playthrough where I just went from start to finish and probably didn't pay as much attention as I should have. But anyway, at that point, and to show she's not in complete control, you can actually delete her character file.
Well, sure. But, I mean, how do you even learn... Here's one issue that I might have, unless they talk about this in the game and, like, lead you to... Like, most games you aren't supposed to go into the files and delete them and change them around at your convenience. So how do you know to do that without, like, reading things online?
Admittedly, like that... Well, in that case, it's because she's already deleted other character files in the game itself, so you can easily get the idea from that to try and delete her character file and see what that does. That part doesn't require actually going online and trying to do that, trying to figure it out. In fact, that was the first thing I thought of the first time she deleted a character's file was, hey, could I just delete her file? And that leads to the worst ending, if you do it that early on.
Why? What happens if you delete? I mean, we'll just do spoiler alerts, but why?
Well-
What happens if you delete?
So, this is something that I fully admit they don't explain in the game, which is that whoever's in charge of the literature club basically becomes aware of everything that's going on. Like the fact that they're in a game and you can just alter the code and all of these things. If you delete her file early on, somebody else is in charge of the literature club and they learn all this stuff and they basically just go completely insane and kill everything.
Is anyone, when they learn the truth, bummed out that it's not like Mario Kart or
Right.
Animal Crossing or some like whimsical universe? It's like just a fucking high school book club.
Like of all the games you could be in.
Yeah.
This is what I get.
I think that's basically what Monica's problem is.
Okay, like not even a double jump. Like, come on.
Yeah, you don't even get a double jump.
Well, the worst part is you're God if you're in control of the book club, but you're not really. You can only change. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
The burden of knowledge.
So regardless of which ending you get, the game basically locks you out. You can't continue past that point. It's the end and you're done. So in the ending I got, which is the one you will get on your first playthrough unless you know to manipulate the game in that exact way, nobody's files were really completely deleted, even Monica's, and she basically brings everyone back and then locks you out of the game.
Do you guys think this is the spoilers for Infinity War?
yeah, I like this. That's where they got.
And then she just starts like deleting moments from your playthrough as she ends the game with a song.
Okay.
Cheery ending.
What style of song?
A cheery song with piano accompaniment.
A jaunty tune. All right.
And then the best ending, when you delete Monica, she stays deleted. The person who takes over for the literature club is aware of everything that happened, but doesn't go completely crazy because she sees that you tried to make everyone happy, but she still locks you out of the game.
Okay,
So that is Doki Literature Club.
Okay. What did you end up thinking about it?
The ending felt a little bit hollow to me when I finished my playthrough, but at the same time, there's not really any way it can possibly.
I say that's a tough one to steer to something. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's tough. But
what if they partnered with Animal Crossing? Hang on with me here.
All right.
And you were able to transport Monica into an Animal Crossing town. I mean, sure, she'd be hung due to Animal Crossing's very famous, very strict pornography laws. But I think for a short time she'd be having a great time. You guys haven't played as much Animal Crossing as I have. I
haven't played any Animal Crossing.
There you go. See.
Yeah, I thought you're not just making up very strict pornography laws.
I mean, they don't care for it, Ev. That's all I can tell you. Okay, they don't care for it.
And I should also specify that there's a difference between me not finding an ending satisfying and an ending actually being bad. I think it was a good ending. It's just, I think going into it, for some reason, I was under the impression you could make the game end happily, and because of that mistaken impression.
I think we also enjoy happy endings for the most part, right?
Yes.
So that's a personal preference. That's true.
Well, and in general, I have a problem when you should have to know what to expect in advance for something to be satisfying at the end.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And again, it's your job as a storyteller. If you're going to come up with a crazy scenario, especially one that's self-referential, like a book that realizes it's a book or a movie or any of those scenarios, if you're already breaking all of the rules, then you don't have anything constraining you from coming up with a very satisfying ending. Like,
that is true.
I mean, other than laziness, other than the fact you just want to lock out the character and end it that way, which is fine. Some people might really like how it ended, but I'm just saying.
Junkblade, don't worry. Monica escaped the code, and she's on her way to you as we speak. Who's that at the door?
So yeah, that was my playthrough. And
as long as you liked it, though.
I'm definitely not disappointed that I played the game.
I can't. I heard like a lot of discussion about this game, but they like never talked about like the ins and outs of the story, and I am supremely surprised at where that went, because like I guess they were just people I was listening to were just so vague in terms of how much they enjoyed it, like or enjoyed those twists and stuff, but never really got into them. I never really thought about what those twists would be, so that's very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, this would be my guess based on how you've described the story, is that the whole idea of part of the game being going in and changing the game files themselves, I see that as a huge draw because it is different. So
yeah, it is. It's doing something unique with a pretty tired old formula, and that is what I think has a lot of people liking it, even if it's not necessarily their kind of thing. It's what has me enjoying it, even though it's not normally my kind of game.
Cool. And now you're also playing Tactics Ogre. You know, there's some
of Lodis.
Yeah, there's some, contention on what the subtitle is, but we can move on. What?
There's no contention, you're just wrong.
No, that's, I've heard it both ways. What's this? How old is this? Like, where system?
This is 2001. This is a game a friend of mine is actually currently doing for a Let's Play, and it is in the Ogre Battle series that I've mentioned a few times.
Is that PlayStation 1?
This game, Tactics Ogre, Let Us Clean Together was PlayStation 1, and then this was Game Boy Advance. It's a remake of the PlayStation 1 game, but made better.
Wasn't there a Super Nintendo Tactics Ogre?
There was a Super Nintendo one called March of the Black.
Okay. Boy, these subtitles, gang, we gotta talk about these. They're just... There's a lot going on, but I could not tell you what the tell them apart.
I think, the first 3 Ogre games, because there's a grand total of 5, are all their subtitles are Queen songs, like March of the Black Queen and Let Us Cling Together.
Let Us Cling Together is a Queen song?
I mean, Queen did a lot of songs.
Does this mean, in a universe where Tactics Ogre's games continue to be released, we would get Tactics Ogre Fat Bottom Girls?
Possibly.
Oh boy.
I feel like that's the next one.
Alright, how do we make this timeline happen?
That needs to happen.
You go approach Square Enix and say, hey, I want to buy the rights to the Ogre Battle series.
I should just have to play the song, and they'll get it. They'll pick up what I'm putting down there.
Are they doing anything with that IP right now?
They're doing literally nothing with the IP. It's been almost 20 years, and they've done nothing. Yeah, Let Us Cling Together and March of the Black Queen are songs performed by Queen, and the Ogre Battle is also the name of a song performed by Queen.
Huh.
By the way, how's my press to talk?
It's much better.
So, in this game, you are playing as a character who, of course, like all the Ogre Battle games, you can choose the name of, which I know is one of Valen's favorite things about the series, because if he can't name his own character, he just isn't
There's no point.
Anyway, you are playing as the eponymous Knight of Lodis, who has been sent to deal with an uprising in a faraway kingdom by the Duke of Felis. Felis.
Okay.
Um,
Now, real quick, these are are these Final Fantasy Tactics kind of battle type systems, or
it's similar.
similar? Okay.
It is a It is very much a tactics game, and one I'm enjoying. But I will fully admit that I'm just playing it through for the story. I'm not trying to play it through fairly, which is what I'm also doing with Ogre Battle in my off time, because there's bits of it that I want to remember and enjoy going through it myself more than I would just watching a playthrough on YouTube.
Sure.
So I'm a couple of missions in. We start off getting shot into the ocean by an assassin who is targeting our friend. Like, we see him and we jump in the way of the crossbow bolt, which knocks us into the ocean.
Oh, I love this game. Yeah, this is a great.
Then we meet up with some people who saved us, who are working for a priest, and help them deal with some bandits and raiders that are nearby, where we then meet back up with our friend, and then we have to split up and go our separate ways because there's two different places that need dealing with. He has to deal with one, and we have to deal with another because we don't have like the manpower to stay together. So he goes to do his thing, we go to do our thing, and our guy ends up getting kidnapped by Commander Nichault, Nichault. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name.
I don't know how this series didn't take off more with these just prime choice quality names they're dropping here.
Duke of Felis, the Holy Lotus Empire, Commander
Ogre Battle was a bit better about having reasonable names. Anyway, we end up being saved by a woman named Sybil, who is an agent of the Pope, because there is a Pope in this setting.
Right. Holy Lotus Empire, so.
And...
Does he have, like, the Pope hat?
I'm not certain.
Okay, better have a Pope hat.
Because we have not actually seen the Pope on screen.
Okay.
One moment.
So that's all I have. Other than I found another Ogre Battle game, apparently Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber.
That is Evan and I's favorite entry in
that's
the series.
That's a heck of a subtitle. I'll tell you that much.
It is the one that ends on a cliffhanger that will never be resolved because Square Enix does not care about...
Unless we take up the mantle.
I think it's time, boys.
We three. Ogre Battle 128. This time it's in space.
Duke of Felis is now an android who is melded with Commander Nighthawk.
But anyway, I will keep you guys updated with the story as it goes along.
Okay.
Since, like I said, I'm basically just doing a God mode run to go through the story, and that's more interesting than me giving you a play-by-play of how the battles go anyway.
Yeah. Is there a favorite battle ability or something? What's your favorite kill shot move?
Favorite class is the Angel Knight, which is stupidly hard to get a hold of unless you cheat, because you need really high stats in every category, and then you need them to have a certain emblem, and then you need to have them die in a battle and hope they resurrect as an Angel Knight.
Oh, good. I was hoping they had to die. I'm glad that's part of it.
My favorite was the Lich. You could get a Lich if you wanted.
you can indeed get a Lich if you want. In Ogre Battle, I think you get 2, and that was the maximum.
Double Lich. Classic strat. Okay. How long is this game, would you say, at least in terms of the playthrough you're doing?
In terms of the playthrough I'm doing, it'll probably take, I'd say, 10 hours at most, because of how I'm doing it. To get the best ending, because Ogre Battle was a series that had a lot of different endings depending on how you did things. One specific character has to survive the entire way through. Your main guy has to kill 50 people or more by himself, and you have to beat the game in under 25 hours.
That feels like a tall...
I was able to get the best ending just completely randomly, so...
Little drop in the flex there.
Well, Evan, the thing is, you're actually competent at tactics games.
Ogre Battle Master Valen. Don't come at him weak, fellas. He guards the lane with a wide body. Okay. I guess that brings us to... I should have peppered my topic in between all of these Junkblade topics a little bit.
The D&D update is that there was D&D this week. The D&D update is over.
Oh, but our shortest D&D update ever! Oh, no. Well, at least tell me... I can't ask about that guy anymore. Did you do the Japanese one?
Okay, I am actually going to give an actual update. I just felt the need to make a joke because you did indeed set me up for 3 different topics in a row. I feel like I'm talking to myself right now.
I feel like we've jumped in there at various points.
I mean, my favorite pastime is just making snide comments, so...
There you go. That's our
I
lane.
definitely noticed. So this week we're doing we did the D20 Modern campaign that my friend wanted to run. The party consists of a half-demon assassin with poison blade weapons, a tiefling who... I forget what they do other than make snide comments most of the time.
Presumably teeth-based weaponry.
A yeti, who is also a major scientist. And then my character, who is an ASMR, also a scientist. The yeti and I collaborated through email to create what we are calling the phase modulator in character, and out of character just calling the portal gun.
Is the Yeti's ulterior motive just to make like a really sick cooler or something? Because that would be
no,
cool.
it is not.
Oh man, wasted opportunity.
Basically, this is taking place in a future where Earth is mostly been used up, and we're trying to get to other places to get resources so that humanity can actually thrive instead of slowly going extinct.
Okay. Has anyone brought up the idea that maybe we biffed it, and maybe we're getting what we deserve?
I like that.
We done biffed it.
No, they have not, because then there won't be a campaign.
I guess that's true. That would...
Well, the campaign could be, how do you live your best life?
Yeah, the campaign would be convincing other people to just accept it. And let them down easy.
Fair.
Roll to let them down easy. Okay. So is this like something you have to gather specific parts for, or is this something you're trying to...
The first session they went to this planet that we went back to this session. Okay. And we found out there were 2 different races on this planet. One was what we initially thought was the original race, who tried to do scientific experimentation on these nanite things that went horribly, horribly, horribly wrong.
Boy, have nanites ever worked out? Right?
Well, it turned
Always bad.
even worse. It turns out these things are actually sentient beings that are just like in super tiny spaceships. And I should say, for the most part, this series has like this campaign is going to basically have a Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo level of tone. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
Got it.
Good. Good.
So we're basically the Scooby Gang going out to the universe and solving mysteries about why things have gone wrong on other planets.
But
While we try and solve the issue with our own. And that's why we built the portal gun.
Oh, you already have the portal gun.
We already have the portal gun, but right now it
okay.
can only hold like 2 locations at a time, so it's wherever we're going and Earth, because we need to be able to get back. It also has a...
Well, I mean,
do you just like guess at places you want to go, or how do you?
It would have helped if I was there for the first session, if I could answer that question.
Okay.
But the one week I was visiting Valen, and can't remember. Oh yeah, the other week I had family in town, so I couldn't attend the first session of this campaign or the Lord of the Rings campaign.
Okay, Junkblade, popular guy. Popular guy. Okay. Well, that's I like that setup in terms of going to different worlds. That gives you a lot of different locations and terrain to explore. And, you know,
once a bummer, you can never go back though.
You can wait. You can never go back to a place you go to.
Well, if you could, then you wouldn't worry about keeping Earth as one of the 2 locations, right?
Well, you can go back. It's just that you need to. We've got like the location. It's just that if we go to a different place, then we have to reset the portal gun.
Is that a big deal?
It can be, because there is like a time limit on the portals. Like, we have to get there and get back within a certain period of time, or we don't know when the next portal can open up.
It sounds like this portal gun's on the fritz to me.
Slightly, yes. It is new technology that we are still working on.
Okay.
But you're willing to go through the portal, so you're confident enough to jump through.
Did you send like a dog through first, or like what was the testing?
That is not a detail that has been covered. I'm convinced that my character probably just doesn't care that much, because based on what the Dungeon Master has said, my character and the Yeti have also created these 2 grenades that are basically the thermal detonators from Star Wars, except they make mini black holes. They are an oh shit button in case things go really, really south.
Well,
what's the and deal 15d6 damage to it.
But do you not also collapse the cells within your body at that point?
Apparently, it only affects things in a 5-foot radius.
That is optimistic.
That is a small event horizon.
Let's say
it is a very small.
You may have said like little black hole. I'm not sure like the size.
Plus, yeah, it's
matters. Because
like,
isn't a black hole? Okay, I can't get into the physics of it because it doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, and we're not trying to get into the physics of it. This is very much we're just here to have fun sort of thing.
Okay, well, yeah, it just feels like if you guys can make like a black hole grenade, you should be able to get the portal gun to work reliably.
Within a 5-foot radius.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, well, hopefully you guys get that going. I like that though.
Nice. All right.
Are you on to the topic, or
you've got to? If you're done with the D&D update,
I am done with the D&D update. I didn't really have much else.
Let's think of a closeout line for Junkblade's D&D update. And I see you finished your pint of ale, weary traveler. Return again in a fortnight for another tale of adventuring, daring do.
That seems overly long.
Okay, well, you come up with something. Jeez.
Right, you just kind of
Trying to, that's just off the cuff here.
Well, I think I should start the D&D update with Deckard Cain's famous line of "Stay a while and listen."
Okay. And then, by the fires of a Shardalon! Oh my god, look over there!
I like the idea of you being every bad guy in Diablo ever. You'll never defeat me.
Yeah.
My power is too strong.
I think that also makes him the bad guy in every Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, that's so great. Every single they're the most confident beings in the universe. It's like they'll see their friend just get wasted, and then they'll go, "What? Okay, well, I've got this. No worries, guys. Oh, aren't you gonna try now?" And then it's like, guys, come on.
I like the smoke thing.
The smoke thing's great. Got him. Oh, no, that's impossible. I am in the starting the saga I'm in right now has a lot of great stuff with that because there's a wizard. Okay, the wizard had a dad called Bibbidi. The wizard is named Bobbidi, and he's trying to awaken Majin Buu. And I love it. I love it so much.
I hope you enjoy the Boo saga.
Do you guys get it? You guys get it? Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo?
Yeah, I've had the joke pointed out to me numerous times.
Oh! Like, as soon as I heard that wizard, I was like, oh yeah, give it to me. I love it. But Bobbidi is very confident that he's going to be able to suck all the energy from Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan. So he's sending like his most powerful warriors to beat them up and extract their energy. And it's not going well for him. The Saiyans are not expending a lot of effort right now. And it's great to watch his reaction of like, oh! And then as soon as they get to the next stage, he's like, well, this guy will beat the shit out of him. So, good stuff. But, that brings us to, we're being very topical this week. Recently announced remake of Link's Awakening. And I want to throw the trailer up. So we'll watch the trailer. Let me get to this. And I'll switch it to this. I'm playing the trailer. I guess I think it's a very cool trailer. Well done. The ocean. It's a bad storm. It's a rickety wood boat, and it's our buddy Link. Saying, I shouldn't have gone by myself. Oh.
You should have brought Sam with him.
Yeah, to anybody, really. And then it's, wake up, Link, you've got an adventure.
What is with the giant egg on top of the volcano?
You haven't played Link's Awakening, I guess.
No,
okay.
I have not.
Well, that's a key part of it.
Okay.
You're trying to awaken the windfish who's in that egg. Well, we can see some clips here, gameplay. Stopping Goombas, classic Zelda. Coming out this year. So, very interesting. Kind of a game that, came out on the Game Boy originally in like 1993, I think. Kind of one of those ones like Majora's Mask where it has a very devoted following for kind of its quirkiness, and I think there's even interviews with the developers talking about how they wanted it to like Twin Peaks was an inspiration for like the story and characters of this game. In terms of, I don't know, I've only watched like 3 episodes of Twin Peaks, so I guess like the complete nonsensicalness of them, I guess. Oh, did Valen forget the push to talk button? Yep, can't hear me.
Never know.
There we go.
We'll never know.
I think we know. But so I think all three of us, Valen, you played Link's Awakening, right? Is that true?
I really like Link's Awakening.
Okay.
The Twin Peaks thing I can't speak to, but
Okay.
I haven't seen Twin Peaks. I've only seen a bunch of things that are homages to Twin Peaks. So
That's basically
The Psych homage to Twin Peaks is one of
fantastic.
the best ones.
New Psych movie
That
coming
is
out.
fantastic.
Very excited.
I'm pumped about the new Psych movie.
I'm pumped about the new Psych movie too.
But so people are.
We already had a Psych reference this episode with the I've heard it both ways, right?
Oh
Yeah.
I use it constantly. So yeah, people are internet very excited. But there's been some discussion about the look of the game. Now, I think all three of us on the panel here think it looks pretty fantastic. Is that
This is essentially the same issue people had when Wind Waker came out, and it's even dumber here because they're saying, "Oh, does it look like a Game Boy game?" And it was never going to.
And
you can't make.
Yeah, and like the limited palette and just capability of the Game Boy, you can't really. It's tough to ascribe artistic intent to that level of fidelity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna trust Nintendo to kind of know what they were going for with Link's Awakening
Exactly.
originally.
Even beyond that, though, it's like that version of the game literally already exists.
Yeah.
You're asking for something that you already have.
Although, and also, this looks great and it's super cute, and you know.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's
So
how I felt about Wind Waker. That
yeah,
all
yeah.
the people who were complaining about the graphics were just complaining about something completely silly because for one, the graphics in Wind Waker don't look that bad. And
It's aged as well as you can.
I love Wind
Yeah.
Waker.
I love Wind Waker.
The expressiveness that allowed Link to have, I think, was fantastic. And
in general, I do sort of get the complaint because there are some like shows that I will not watch because I find the animation so off-putting. But in the case of
but that's a stylistic thing, right?
yeah, that's a stylistic thing. In here, I don't see it.
yeah,
Like,
I definitely do remember that being a thing because I think Valen and I think we were freshmen in high school maybe when Wind Waker came out. And I do recall getting some flack for the old GameCube at the time, but
The flag was centered around. I think in general people wanted a gritty. I don't know if you call it grittier, but not as a cartoonish approach.
Yeah. So they show, this all stems from a demo in Space World 2000, where it showed Link fighting Ganondorf in at the time, graphically robust way. Although you look back at that now and you're like, okay, that's boring. So, but Wind Waker. So, but this is a kind of a little shift on that because it's a remade game. And that kind of got me thinking, like, so, one, very excited about this to see what they do with it. But two, like, with these remakes, which I don't have a problem with for the most part, especially these really older games that either are very difficult to get a hold of or just don't maybe hold up mechanically as well these days. I'm thinking, actually, another Game Boy one that was came out a little while ago was they'd remade Metroid 2 on the 3DS.
Okay.
And they actually, that was a little, looks-wise, I thought that looked very good. But they actually changed the combat a fair amount, adding like a counter system, so that's maybe a little different. But so I guess we wanted to mainly focus on like keeping, for lack of a better term, the feeling of a game, right?
Right.
And how that can be done either if it is like a graphics thing or if it's like what you guys think needs to be there to kind of hold to this nebulous idea of the feel of.
The ultimate problem is you're never going to please both sides. So one side, any change is going to be an insult to the original. The other people are going to be the people who want something for their money, like, and then by that I mean if they don't change enough, they're going to. Now, I think how you have to attempt to draw the line, especially if you are one of the original creators, is you're going to know what your intent was with the original, and how that was limited by the technology at the time.
Yes.
So you're going to know immediately what you want to change because you're going to know immediately what you weren't able to do with the original. And then everyone else could just suck it, as far as I'm concerned, if they don't like your product, because that is what you're just trying to do. Like, the whole point of doing a remake is you didn't have what you needed at the time to produce what you wanted to produce.
You hear that, everybody? The Star Wars special editions are the prime. Those are it. That's fucking canon, all right?
Right.
No more.
Well,
George Lucas finally had the technology fitting his vision, and there were dewbacks on Tatooine in numerous locations. And I'll never hear anything else about it.
I also want to point out that the original game came out 26 years ago.
Just a little bit ago.
So anyone who played the original game is going to be in their 30s at this point, at least.
You don't know that. We don't know that.
The original game when it came out.
Yeah.
I should specify. When it initially came out.
The math is so hard to do.
Okay, well, to be fair, Link's Awakening was re-released as a Game Boy Color game, Link's Awakening DX, in like 98. So, that's still a long time ago. But and like these remaking the games like of this NES, Game Boy, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have a lot of. I don't find the criticism of like, oh, it doesn't look like something like the original doesn't hold much for me because I don't know what that like unless you just wanted like an 8-bit game that was widescreen or something.
What would have made these people happy? I don't understand.
So and to be fair, I haven't delved deeply into these. Like most of the people I follow are like really pumped about it. But these are mostly just like internet comments that are like 2 sentences, like "Bruh." So like there hasn't been like a great breakdown of that feeling, but I don't care.
And I guarantee you that Nintendo's thought process on this is, okay, so what we have to do is we have to somewhat appeal to people who played this game originally, but realize that that's not our main audience, because if it were, there would be no reason to make this in the first place. Our main audience is going to be people who are new to the game, and we need to...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they need to draw new people in. And you can't do that by literally just remaking an old game.
Yeah.
And also again, then you get into the whole, like, what's the point of even remaking it, unless you're just trying to get it out onto more platforms.
In which case, they could just throw the emulator up, which we know they have, and just release Link's Awakening. Oh, real quick, back to Star Wars. Okay,
alright.
Like, the whole, like, like, Han shot first thing, right? When I watch, like, the special editions, like, I still think he shoots first. I don't get it. Like...
Well,
at worst, it's like simultaneous, and I don't understand how that.
It wasn't that big of a deal. I never noticed that. I didn't notice that.
No.
A lot of people's complaint is they say Han shots first, but really what the original was is that Han was the only one who shot at all, which I think a lot of people complain about that as like their main problem that is symptomatic of larger problems with these special editions. But I do agree that for the most part, it's a little bit petty.
Yeah.
It's really petty.
Yeah, the idea that they made Greedo slightly more competent, I don't think that reflects on Han Solo at all.
No, exactly.
And let's see.
The complaint that I've heard is that the idea is that Han starts out as a complete scoundrel, literally shooting the guy before he even gets to draw his gun.
The guy who's talking about bringing him to, like...
Oh yeah, I'm not...
It's a nonsense.
It's also like it's like the only thing like that he ever does. Like he's a complete softy the rest of the film franchise.
Right.
Like
it's fair.
That is
Like,
but
yeah, that
the fact that that's like the biggest, like most famous complaint, and not maybe was this added even later? Darth Vader yelling no when he picks up like the Emperor and shit and throws him into the.
I don't.
Yeah, that was added much later. I don't.
Okay,
recall that
well,
ever
fuck that,
being in there.
because that's worse. Like a lot worse. Like
Yeah, that is.
talk about just like killing the
so
moment,
much worse.
like one of the greatest film moments in cinema.
Well, the other.
I didn't
thing-
realize that. Yeah, you don't need that at all.
Oh, it's so bad.
The other thing that's really, really bad is, in some of the special editions, instead of having the one guy be Darth Vader's Force Ghost at the end, they have it be the young guy from
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
You know,
That's a horrible change that there's
Terrible.
no reason for.
well, I mean,
Unless you're also going to edit in the new Obi-Wan and
well, we actually saw
younger
Obi-Wan at that
Yoda.
age, right? So you would
Yeah.
think like, oh, if he was accepted back into the Force, it would have to be back to when he was like a good guy. So
I guess that kind of makes.
unfortunately, we have to accept that Hayden Christensen was cast in that role. Although it's probably the writing's fault mostly, but
it's the writing's fault
I'm
mostly.
just waiting until enough time has passed and they can go back and remake those first three. Personally,
or just I guess just give me the. I guess I just need to dig up the VHS tapes where Leonard Maltin interviews George Lucas for 15 minutes beforehand every time. But
I actually remember that.
right?
I saw this great meme. Did Justin, J Money or Madamus send this to you guys? Where it's young Anakin's mom talking to him, and he's like, "I feel 60." It's like, "All right, you can stay home from school today." And then it's like, "Today we learn about the High Ground children," or something like that. It's really stupid. He missed the high ground.
There's lots of different
God.
jokes about the high ground thing. I think one of my favorites is just, all right, who would win? Literally every Sith Lord ever, or Obi-Wan on top of Mount Everest.
This is why those new movies are so important. Seeing Darth Vader as a complete badass at the end of Rogue One
Right.
washed all those memories away from me. I am I am cleansed.
I loved Rogue One.
Rogue One was amazing.
So, not really a remake, but two things I want to mention real quick. Darkest Dungeon and Hollow Knight are both getting sequels.
Oh, the Hollow Knight one I did hear about.
I didn't know about the Darkest Dungeon.
It was just announced very recently.
Okay.
In fact, the last couple of days, I think. This time, instead of being... They don't have an actual release date. I will...
All right, quick riff on the sequel names for Darkest Dungeon. Okay, surprise, Even Darker Dungeon. Anyone else got an idea?
The actual title is The Howling End.
Oh,
and it's
come on.
it's
Have fun
more-
with it, guys! For once in your lives!
Yeah, the
It's
game's
more-
already dark enough, right?
It's more of a world-spanning thing than just trying to deal with the horrors that have manifested in your backyard.
Happy Puppy Time Dungeon. Just
Ooh, I like
kidding,
that.
it might be dark. Depending on when you play it. If you play it in the evening, it'll be dusk, right? So, I guess this title's getting a little long. And then Hollow Knight...
Puppy Time. Just kidding is.
Silk Song, I think is the... right?
Yes, you are playing as Hornet, one of the bosses from the original game.
Yeah. And it started as... they said it started as DLC, but then it was getting so big they said this is a new game. So, like, the trailer looked pretty good in terms of... At least from, like, what I guess I've played some number of hours of it, then watched, like, some speedruns. But different enemy types and, like, some different movement mechanics from what I could see in, like, the little clips and stuff. But I also bet people like Valen and you guys who enjoyed it so much are just eager to have more of that type of game, right? I would think.
I mean, just with the... I love this. So speaking of again, back to our like topic of the evening. I think people should differentiate between if they just don't like a game's style, or if they really like. So I guess if you just don't like the new art style they've chosen for Link's Awakening, whatever. But I don't know. Okay, but toward my point, as long as they have a similar style and the mechanics, then I'm going to be very happy. I could see this isn't a remake; it's a sequel, but similar concept. Where if they change too much, I could see people being unhappy. I would be unhappy if they try to do too much with it or change it up. But again, that's sequel versus remake, so.
And that is a topic we would like to go into sometime about the difference between some sequels refining the formula of the original and others trying to do something completely different.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that is hanging on the end of our list, isn't it?
I say we go into that one next time.
Okay. Pencil it in.
Especially since we are drawing near to our hour, if we're not already gone.
We are at least near.
I think so. So now is the time we take questions. Just kidding. There's never any questions. You're right. You never know.
I think Commander Root's been waiting all this time.
I think so. But what are the gaming plans for the next week, gentlemen?
Breath of the Wild, obviously.
Hot. Love it.
And more Tactics Ogre.
God.
I'm gonna play some Champions with T-Bob, I'm sure.
Champions, okay.
Yeah, Apex Legends.
Oh, yeah, that one. I will play something, I'm sure.
You're not gonna even define it. You know what? Actually, Doc, what I'd much rather is make a goal of watching some Street Fighter with you.
Yes. Yes, homework for everybody watching. First disc of Street Fighter 2 V, the hot new anime of Street Fighter 2.
Like I don't care if you just set up your iPad and
we gotta figure it out.
TV,
but just Google it, guys. It's great. All right.
Junkblade, since it's your special day, you want to take us out?
Thank you, all of you, for tuning in as usual. We're looking forward to next time, and we hope you are too. Have a good night.